All right, guys, so we potentially have some bombshell documents from the Intercept that may show that Fauci may not have been as truthful as he was letting on in Congress when arguing back and forth with Rand Paul about whether or not the U.S. had funded gain-of-function research in Wuhan, right? Which may or may not have led to this current pandemic that we are in. Now, again, I'm not making any claims. I am simply going over what the competing theories are and the information that we're getting. I am simply reporting. I'm not making any claims whatsoever about masks, the virus, the vaccine, the pandemic, any claims whatsoever. If you have any questions about the virus, masks, pandemic, vaccines, please consult your medical professional. I am simply reporting on information that is publicly available out there for everybody to read. Okay, so yeah, these documents are kind of a big deal. I mean, because we already kind of know that the U.S. has funded coronavirus research in the Wuhan lab. Now, the question really is about whether or not gain of function research was actually done. That is what Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci were going back and forth about, right? And that's a big deal because if we did fund gain of function research in that Wuhan lab in China, and this virus, if it did leak from that lab, then that means that taxpayer dollars may or may not have helped fund this pandemic that we're currently in. And again, that's a big deal. And if that happens to be true, then people like Dr. Fauci is probably in big trouble, right? Probably in big trouble. But again, Fauci has denied this. And to me, it seems like a lot of the conversation and argument really comes down to semantics, right? What do you define as gain of function? What exactly did we research? And if we did fund gain of function research, right, did Fauci know about it, right? Those are questions that need to be answered. And this report, these internal documents, get us a little bit closer to the answer. So let's read here. Newly released documents appear to contradict Dr. Anthony Fauci's repeated claims that the NIH did not fund gain-of-function research on bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. The internal documents detail the work of EcoHealth Alliance, an American research nonprofit, which used NIH funding to research novel bat coronaviruses at the Wuhan lab. Among the documents which were obtained by the Intercept through a Freedom of Information Act request is a previously unpublished EcoHealth Alliance grant proposal filed with the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease, which is run by Fauci. The proposal requests $3.1 million for a project titled Understanding the Risk of Bat Coronavirus Emergence, which involves screening thousands of lab workers for novel bat coronaviruses. The grant was awarded for 5 years from 2014 to 2019 and was subsequently renewed before being suspended by the Trump administration. The proposal directs $599,000 of the total grant to the Wuhan Institute of Virology for research designed to make viruses more dangerous and more infectious, and its author acknowledged the danger associated with such work. Okay, so that's important because, again, what do you define as gain of function? Now, Fauci is essentially saying that the research that was done in regards to the bat coronaviruses, that was not gain of function. Rand Paul is saying that it is. And we know for a fact that we definitely funded research associated with that. However, again, the question is, was it or was it not gain of function? Now, my understanding of what gain of function is basically what this article says it is, right? Genetically modifying viruses so that, they are stronger and more infectious so that you can learn how to fight a pandemic. Now, I think regardless of whether or not you think there was gain of function or whether it wasn't, I think that it is risky business for us to be sending taxpayer dollars over to China for them to conduct research like this, right? Because China does not have the same standards that we have, right? They don't have the same standards that we have when it comes to anything. That's why you can make things a lot cheaper in China because they don't have much regulations, right? And there's just some things that you probably shouldn't outsource, like research on viruses, right? You should not be outsourcing those things to labs that are halfway across the world that we don't necessarily have access to. And just because we sent our money there, and just because some of the documentation says this money is not supposed to be used for gain of function research, doesn't mean that it wasn't, okay? And I think that's what people have to kind of understand here, right? I'm not making any claims either way or the other. I'm just saying I have an open mind to the idea that, hey, you know what? We sent a lot of money over there. Do we know what the money was used for? Right? We spent a whole lot of taxpayer dollars here in the United States for domestic programs, and we really don't even know what the money's going towards, right? We think we do, but we don't. We don't know where it's going towards. So I have little faith that, we're funding research in China and we know everything that the money's being used for. I have doubts about that. But let's read more. Quote, field work involves the highest risk of exposure to SARS or other COVs while working in caves with high bat density overhead and the potential for fecal dust to be inhaled, it read. After reviewing the documents, Gary Rustin, an executive director of the group probing COVID's origins, called U.S. Right to Know, told the Intercept that the grant was a roadmap to the high-risk research that could have led to the current pandemic. Ding, 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 ding. I mean, again, that's kind of the worst case scenario, right? Is that this grant again, was a roadmap, kind of paved the way to do high risk research that, again, may or may not have led to the current pandemic, right? Again, we don't know. I'm not making any claims one way or the other. I'm just saying, right? There's a possibility. Fauci has repeatedly insisted during his Senate testimony that the research funded by the NIH at the WIV did not qualify as gain of function under the NIH's current definition. But critics, including Senator Rand Paul of Kentucky, have accused Fauci of playing semantics games by excluding research which makes bat coronaviruses more transmissible, the commonly accepted definition of gain of function, from his more convenient definition. Yeah, so, it seems that, Fauci, again, in my opinion, it seems like he's trying to exclude anything from the definition of gain of function research that might not make him look good, right? You know what I'm saying? Look, I'm just saying, I'm not a scientist. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like if you're funding research that includes making bat coronaviruses more transmissible, that would be gain of function. Again, I'm not a scientist. I don't know, right? I don't know. I'm just saying, it just sounds like Fauci here is trying to skirt around that, right? And I tell you, I'm not surprised. The left loves to play semantics game. Like, they like to play semantics games when it comes to the definition of sex and gender, right? They love those semantics games. So again, I'm not surprised by this. Richard Ebright, a biosafety expert and professor of chemistry and chemical biology at Rutgers University, has also disputed Fauci's claims. Primarily, he has rebutted Fauci's chief declaration that the NIH has not ever and does not now fund gain-of-function research in the Wuhan Institute of Virology as demonstrably false. Ebright told National Review that the NIH financed work at the Wuhan Institute of Virology epitomizes the definition of gain-of-function research, which involves working with enhanced potential pandemic pathogen or those pathogens resulting from the enhancement of the transmissibility and or virulence of a pathogen. The Wuhan's labs program qualified as gain-of-function research because it artificially engineered novel SARS-related coronaviruses to make them more transmissible and dangerous to humans, the breeding ground for accident, Ebright said. Following the FOIA release secured by the Intercept, Ebright doubled down on his reputation of Fauci, confirming that the NIH did conduct gain-of-function research during the 5-year period in question. Quote, the material showed that the 2014 and 2019 NIH grants to EcoHealth with subcontracts to the Wuhan Institute of Virology funded gain-of-function research as defined in federal policies in effect in 2014 to 2017 and potential pandemic pathogen enhancement as defined in federal policies in effect in 2017 to present, Ebright tweeted. He added that the documents make it clear that assertions by the NIH director, Francis Collins, and the NIAID director, Anthony Fauci, that the NIH did not support gain-of-function research or potential pandemic pathogen enhancement at the Wuhan Institute of Virology are untruthful. As evidence mounts in favor of Ebright's conclusion, further discrediting Fauci, some Republican lawmakers have called for the doctor's removal from his post in the Biden administration. Shortly after the FOIA disclosure, GOP Senator Josh Hawley demanded that Fauci step down and be subject to congressional investigation for lying to the public about the NIH's activities. Quote, Anthony Fauci has repeatedly and deliberately misled Congress and the American people. Resign and face a congressional inquiry, he tweeted. All right. So, yeah, there you have it, guys. I'm going to link to the Intercept. You guys can read that article. You also can find the documents yourself, right, and read them for yourself and come to your own conclusions. Now, again, like I said, I'm not making any claims. I don't really know. I am just simply saying that it sounds to me like Fauci has kind of finagled his definition of gain-of-function research to try to make it look like, well, you know, we don't really have anything to do with what may or may not be found out in regards to the origins of this virus, right? That essentially sounds like what's going on to me. Because, again, it would be a big deal if ultimately it was found out that U.S. taxpayer dollars contributed to this pandemic. That would be a huge, huge, huge deal. And if it was done with the approval of Dr. Fauci, let's just say that he would not be the darling of the liberal media that he currently is. And it would make them look very, 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 very stupid, right? So let me know what you guys think. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Most importantly, share a Black conservative perspective. Peace.